Hi, it's Dennis Daly. Nice to have you along on All Week Theater, where we take a classic radio episode and play it out over 5 days. Now, CBS's You Are There goes back to the Salem Witch Trials for Part 4.
On the 27th of March, I and my sister's husband, John Tarbell, he's here now and he'll swear to everything I say.
Tell your story.
John and I went up to Thomas Putnam's to find out why his wife and daughter were making shocking accusations against my mother.
The reason why is no secret. You heard them tell the court.
I wanted them to tell me. At the house, I found Miss Putnam, her daughter Anne, and one of Anne's friends. I asked young Anne how she came to name my mother among the witches. I said, did she mention my mother's name first, or did someone else say it to her?
What point are you trying to make?
When I asked young Anne how she first came to mention my mother's name among the witches, she replied that she had seen the apparition of a pale-faced woman sitting in her grandmother's chair. I said, who was that woman? She said she didn't know her name. I said, who told you to say my mother's name?
Are you saying
That's when her friend spoke up. Why, Anne, don't you remember? She said it was your mother. That made Miss Putnam very angry. She cried, why, it was not. It was you told her to say Rebecca Norse. Then they turned on each other and they said it was you told her to say the name.
I still don't understand the point you are trying to make, Samuel North.
What I'm trying to say is that not one of those who now accuse my mother would admit it was they first named her among the witches.
First all us, they named her.
Attorney General Newton seems to be a little impatient as he motions Samuel North to return to his seat. His sister has risen. The North family seems to be on the attack now in defense of their mother. Sarah North, the defendant's 28-year-old daughter, without being asked, without permission, has come up and is now standing before the bench. Attorney General Newton ignores her. He's conferring with the judges. Rebecca North is looking at her daughter. She's smiling, a strange, vague smile. Now Attorney General Newton has turned to Sarah North. He's taking her testimony.
I was in the meeting house on the 24th of March, the day the committee first examined my mother. I was there when Miss Bibber...
You are referring to the widow Bibber who lives in Wenham?
That's the one. I was there when she went into a fit.
The court knows that.
I was watching her when she began to scream that my mother was sticking her with pins.
You're adding nothing new to the facts, Sarah North. If that is why you have asked for permission to testify...
But I saw Miss Bibber take the pins out of her clothes. I saw her take the pins out of her clothes. That's a lie! I saw Miss Bibber take some pins out of her clothes and hold them between her fingers. Then I saw her clasp her hands around her knees. And that's when she began to scream that my mother was sticking pins in her. That's a lie! You're a liar!
One of the spectators probably sees Mrs. Bibber screaming, that's a lie, she's a liar. Sarah North is answering her, shouting, it's the truth, and you know it. The marshal is making her go back to her seat.
Go on down and take your seat. I would like to speak.
Benjamin Putnam is asking to testify. The Attorney General is inviting him to come forward, is asking the brother-in-law of Mrs. Thomas Putnam, who testified against Rebecca North just a minute ago, to come forward.
I have a paper here, signed by 39 people of Salem and Salem Village. I ask the court's permission to read it.
You may read it.
We, whose name...
Will you read it a little louder?
We, whose names are hereunto subscribed, being desired by Francis Norse to declare what we know concerning his wife's conversation for some time past, can testify to all whom it may concern that we have known her for many years. And according to our observation, her life and conversation were as she claimed it, and we never had any cause or grounds to suspect her of any such thing as she is now accused of. Signed, Benjamin Putnam, Sarah Putnam, Job Swinnerton, Esther Swinnerton, Samuel Abbey, Hepzibah Ray, Daniel
This
Andrew...
is a surprise. 39 of Rebecca Norse's neighbors, including Ann Putnam's own brother-in-law, testified by petition to their belief in Rebecca Norse's innocence. Rebecca Norse seems stunned by this unexpected turn in her favor. The spectators, too, seem visibly impressed by the long list of responsible and respectable names. Mrs. Putnam looks startled. She keeps brushing her hair out of her eyes. Her face is pale. Judge Stoughton is turning to the jury.
Rebecca North! Didn't you bring the devil with you? Didn't you tell me to tempt God and die?
Putnam, she's screaming, how often have you eaten and drunk your own damnation? She's hysterical. She's becoming violent. She's ripping her clothes. Her husband has received the court permission to take her outside, and he's lifted her bodily. He's carrying out, kicking and screaming out of the courtroom, and has taken her out now. The trial can start again. Rebecca North seems to be on the point of fainting. It doesn't look as if she can keep standing on her feet much longer. Once again, Judge Stoughton... Wait a minute. Something else has happened. A woman among the spectators threw her shoe and hit Rebecca North in the face. There's a red streak on Rebecca North's right temple where Mrs. Pope's shoe hit her. Rebecca North looks white and shaken. The courtroom is quieting down. Judge Stoughton turns to the jury. Apparently there's going to be no more testimony. He's going to send out the jury for a verdict right now.
I charge that you, being the judges of the facts, if you find that Rebecca North did bewitch the said girls, Ann Putnam and Abigail Williams, so that they were sore afflicted and tormented, then you must find her guilty of witchcraft under the statute of James I.
So join me next time when I take a classic old-time radio episode and split it up into 5 easy-to-digest pieces, right here on All Week Theater.